Hey guys, it's Kali. I'm going to be showing you guys around how I organize my cosplay slash sewing room a bit. So I actually think it's a really good time to show you guys because I'm actually doing a project so you can kind of see how it gets when it gets messy. I don't think, I want to show the functionality of why I did things, so that's why right now is a really good time to do so. As a lot of you know, I'm actually from New York and I moved to Utah about June, and right now it's October, so like 4 months ago. I work in tech, so this is like the only way I know how to word this. It's version 1 of the room, right? Like, I'd like to do more with it, but this is kind of where I'm starting, and I actually really like how it is right now. So I'll kind of show you how I do things, and I had some people DM me actually on multiple platforms that were like, wow, I really like your setup, and they wanted to know more about it. So I'll link everything that I have in the description of this video as well. I'm done being bitten. I will show you guys around. So this is where I store my wigs. So I really like when everything in a space is super transparent, like I can see where everything is, because otherwise I have to dig through a ton. So the way I organized it is I actually have like blue wigs here, pink and red, blonde, black, more blonde, because I have a lot of blonde wigs. These two shelves aren't wigs, they're accessory bags. And then I have brown wigs, and I basically sorted them by color. So if I'm doing like keychain from Genshin Impact, I instantly know like all my blue purple color wigs are right here, and I can just go in and grab it. It's actually helped me a lot because I'm horrible at preparing before shoots. So I really need that kind of system. I'll show you guys the closet right now. I'm switching between summer and winter clothing, so it's kind of a disaster. But I actually have all my cosplays on this bottom shelf and all my regular clothing on the top shelves. And then in my other closet, I have more regular clothing, so I can store more cosplay here. A random witch style hat collection. I also have this divider here. This was about 90 bucks on Amazon. I really suggest it for anyone who works in a corporate environment. On my work from home days, it's really helped me because I usually work over there by my computer, and in the background I obviously don't want my costume project sewing. I don't want my I'm running from class right now. I'm an analyst, so I regularly have meetings with my company's executives and higher up people, so I don't necessarily want my cosplays showing in the background, even though everyone at work knows I cosplay. It's just, I don't know, it's like a corporate thing, right? So I have that divider, so whenever I have a call, I just set it up right behind me. And the only semi-abnormal thing in my environment is this pink chair. And I super suggest that for anyone who has to work from home occasionally. So next up is this table. I'll link this in the description, but I purposely got this so then I could, I'm being bitten. So I could fold it up because I love having a ton of space. So I'll show you how this folds. I just kind of like lift it up over here. And then I push this in. Klaus, you need to move, my friend. And they're kind of like little leaflets, so the other side does the exact same thing. So it can be folded up, and there's wheels, so I can take it anywhere around the apartment. I prefer to keep it right there, but who knows, maybe I'll want to do something in the living room. And I'm sure you guys can see behind it, there is a big there is a big white IKEA shelf. This is the Calyx from IKEA. I will also link that. I plan to get probably one more for over there, a smaller version. But this is like the best storage ever for sewing, so very small story. I had a sleepover with a friend in like my 3rd grade class, and I remember going over to her place and her mom had one of these shelves, and I always liked sewing and costume making. Like when I was in like that age range, I used to have a sketchbook and I was like drawing out like Spider-Man dresses and stuff. Like I just thought that kind of thing was so cool my entire life. So I went over to that friend's house and her mom had a shelf just like that, and I was like, and you know when you're a kid and you see like adults that have really cool things, you're just kind of like, that's gonna be me one day. So that was basically me. I was like, that is going to be me one day. And it's me now, so I'm very happy. I'll show you how I kind of organize it. So this is still kind of a mess. I want more of these pink little bins, but the pink bins each contain accessory bags, I like to call them. It's the costumes hanging up in the closet. If something cannot be hanged for a costume, I put it in a clear plastic bag. I'm pretty certain this one's a Shein bag. No, it's not a Shein bag. It's like a Shein bag. So whenever I do get Shein bags though, I use them. So I basically put the accessories in a clear bag and then I tuck it away in these bins, and the bins are organized by like, I say like color scheme of a character. So I have like darker scheme characters in one bin, Genshin in another, and it basically helps me to just like, it has to be clear bags because then I can see everything. At first I sewed these really pretty little like pink bags for everything. Horrible waste of time, because when you're trying to like, okay, when you have your makeup on, your wig on, and you're just looking for like the 2 final accessories for a costume, it gets really frustrating. So you really want it to be as organized as possible. Iron and the steamer and like all those tools necessary. I have these little white like Walmart plastic bins because I have like snaps and buttons in here, ribbons in here, and it's where like all the smaller type of tools go. I have a fabric shaver here. Basically like all the tools I could really need are in here. This is a recommendation I'd have also for any cosplayers. So I actually organize my sewing patterns in manila envelopes, however you pronounce them. So here's one that I'm using for a project. I taped the front of the pattern to the front of it, back to the back, because let's be honest, we can't fit them back in the envelopes. The pattern things are too small. And then I put them all on a shelf like this, and that helps me to organize things. I don't actually use paints that much, so I just have a big paint bin, markers. This is all my zippers, wig caps, what's behind here, elf ears, vampire fangs. And then in each of those boxes are more cosplay accessories. They're just bulkier that need to hold their form. So I didn't want to put them in bags where they could get crushed. And then I have curlers for my wigs. These actually hurt my hair. I don't like the Velcro curlers, but they work really good for wigs. And then I have all my assorted fabric and backdrops down here. I am planning on getting rid of a lot of the leftover fabric, but first I'm planning to do a series where it's kind of like trying to use my leftover fabric, where like I just try to like make like work clothing or something, or like smaller projects with what I have left over. But that's gonna take quite a bit of planning, and I have a lot of other projects I want to get to. It is kind of nice though, because I'll be like, wow, I need a black lining, and I'll just kind of have it. So that's why I keep a lot of fabric around. But there is a school that actually has like a cosplay club kind of thing nearby, and every now and then they'll need donations, so I would totally donate to them. So I'm thinking of moving that to the top and the stuff that's on the top on the bottom, because Klaus over here, like he loves to pull out pieces of fabric and lay on them. Like he makes himself little beds out of fabric, but he wouldn't actually like lay on a cat bed if I got him one. You know, like it has to be the scrap fabric. So I just kind of like let him have it. At this point I kind of gave up. But that's like my shelf. And I also have a pink bin on the shelf that I call the, like, it's like my cosplay lost and found. It's everything that's lost its accessory bag, or things that like costumes that have one item. All of those end up in that miscellaneous bin. And all of that just helps me keep super organized, because you know, I have a full-time job and I do all this cosplay stuff, so it's a lot on me. I don't have the time to like really dig through a lot, so being organized is super important. Are you happy, Klaus? So I'll continue showing you guys around. I won't go through. I have a whole area of my room with like my dressers and like normal things, and I'm just not gonna get into that area because there's no point of getting into that area. Over here though, I have my sewing table. Now, fun fact, I've actually had this for a while. You probably have seen it if you saw my apartment tour from my place in New York. It folds up as well. It has like a leaflet sticking up on the side. I keep all my threads right at the top here because when I need one, I can just grab it and pop it in the machine, and it makes it super easy. And then I have all my pins in the second shelf, although I need to find a new place for them. They need a new home. I'm probably gonna put them in one of the drawers of my white shelf, as inconvenient as it is, because Klaus here, he has a lot of fun with pin cushions. Pin cushions are one of his favorite toys ever, and we've learned this by finding a pin cushion on the other side of the room and pins scattered everywhere. So no pin cushions for Klaus. And then I have my sewing tape. I put like little bags on the bottom shelf of this with all my, like, these are all my needles for my machine, like extensions. I don't know what they're called. Oh, presser feet, mechanical things to my machine. And I actually have a few bags and like pens and bulkier items, more technical items. Like I have stuff to clean my machine, like clean your machine too. That's actually really important. Yeah. It makes me really happy to do like any activity like sewing in front of a window. Like wherever I am, I always have to be in front of a window. Like I love the sun despite it being so bad for my skin. So then I also have my wig head right here, although I usually end up styling the wigs in the bathroom anyways because I like the hardwood floor or tile, so I can just sweep it all up. The vacuum we got, despite being like $100 when we moved in here, is completely useless and it does not pick up anything. Okay, well it does pick up things, but it's like really, really bad at it. Picking stuff up out of the carpet is a total pain. So we are gonna upgrade vacuums eventually. It's just not top priority. I have my iron board over there tucked away too, and I just set it on this table. I don't actually have a standing ironing board. I just have a giant flat one that I've had for like probably 10 years, and I just lay it out. And then I don't know, this is easy because I have the giant craft table. Oh, last thing to go through, I knew there was something else. I have my dress form right there in the corner, and it's really funny because if I leave that window open right there when I'm doing projects, like a bunch of the women that live here, they'll like come by walking their dogs. Actually, no, I'll do an imitation. They'll like, okay, so this is like my window, right? They have their little dog, they're walking, and then they're like, I know, I have like a costume being made and it's not Halloween, but jeez. It's like the most Utah thing ever though. So I tend to always leave that closed. So then I have all the swords and like, I don't know, it's like random. That's like my props. I just absolutely don't know what to do with my props, but I do think I'm going to be using this wall to mount all my props. That's just a project for future me though. So that's kind of how I like just organize my cosplay stuff, and it'll change over the years as I increase resources and learn what works best for me. But for now, this actually works really well, and I really love this. This is like my dream. When I was a kid, my dream was I wanted a walk-in closet about the size of the one that's in here. I have an itch. This is actually supposed to be the master bedroom, but why would I use it for that? Like, I only need a small room for my bed. I'm not gonna use a small room for my craft room. I don't know, that's just silly. My dream was like, I used to imagine that I had like this pink room, and then I had a walk-in closet, and you go into this walk-in closet and there was a sewing table, and I would just make fancy dresses there. Like, that was my childhood dream. That was a huge deal to me. So I think if 10-year-old me walked in here, she would be like, I studied computer science. I was always like, I swear I'm doing this so that I can have like a room like this, you know, because then I can fund it with my tech job and then go home and enjoy my hobbies, and I can. So I'm super happy about this. This is like the biggest dream come true for me. Like, whenever I went to anyone's place and their moms had hobby rooms like this or anything like that, I remember it was just always like mind-blowing to me. So I'm very grateful to have this, and I'm really proud of past me for having all those very tear-filled nights trying to get through code, trying to get to compile, doing whatever, so then I could be here. I'll link everything below. I don't know if I have the link to the sewing table still. I've had it for like 2 years now. I got it when I first moved out of my parents' place. So it was like 2 years ago. That means I've had Cleo for like almost 3 years. It's crazy. Alright, I will see you guys next week. Thank you very much for watching. Please check out my other content. I come out with weekly videos. I have for 3 years straight. So, bye.